acroasis tricesima prima, caput duodecimum, a pagina nonegesima septima, usque ad nonegesimam nonam, de tempore futuro exacto. Lecture 31, from Chapter 12, pages 97 through 99, on the future perfect tense. Recognitio. Review. Let's start with the present system. Remember that Latin has 6 tenses. 3 of these belong to the present system. They are so called because they will all use the present stem and other characteristics that they have. So we have present, praesens, imperfect, imperfectum, and future, futurum tempus. As I said, they all use the present stem. Remember that to find the present stem, you go to the second principal part and drop the RE for first, second, and fourth conjugation, and you drop the ERE for third conjugation. Latin's remaining 3 tenses belong to the perfect system. The tenses of the perfect system are these: perfectum, or perfect tense, plusquam perfectum, or pluperfect tense, and the futurum exactum, or the future perfect. And the future perfect will be our subject of inquiry tonight. These are called collectively the perfect system for 2 reasons, primarily. First off, that they use the same stem. For the active forms, they use the perfect active stem, which you can find by going to the third principal part and dropping the I. Also, as we recall that perfect, in terms to the science of grammar, means complete, each one of these tenses are going to have a degree of completion to them. Tibi demonstrabo. Let me show you how to conjugate and translate the future perfect tense. For this example, I am going to use cado, cadre, cecidi, casurum, to fall. First, we will start with the perfect active stem. So on your paper, make a chart, first, second, and third person, and allow for 2 columns, singular and plural. Write in the perfect active stem, cecid, 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 6 times. And then we're going to add the following endings to that stem: ero, eris, erit, erimus, eritis, erint. So let's do that together with both the stem and the ending. Cecidero, cecideris, ceciderit, ceciderimus, cecideritis, ceciderint. And the translation is as you would expect. That is, we shall borrow some from the future, and we shall borrow some from the perfect. The translation, therefore, is rather straightforward, if somewhat unusual to our ears accustomed to everyday colloquial English. Cecidro, I shall have fallen. Cecideris, you will have fallen. Ceciderit, he, she, or it will have fallen. Ceciderimus, we will have fallen. Cecideritis, you will have fallen. Ceciderint, they will have fallen. Age, mihi demonstra. Come on, it's your turn to show me now. For this example, let's use the verb vivo, vivere, vixi, victum. Again, set up your conjugation chart, first, second, and third, singular and plural, and put in your perfect active stem. What's your perfect active stem? If you said weeks, that's correct. So we have weeks, weeks, weeks. weeks, weeks, weeks. Pause the video, write in the conjugation, and resume when you're ready to check your work. Alright, we have weeksero, weekseris, weekserit, weekserimus, weekseritis, weekserint. Now, let's check our translations. Weeksero, I shall have lived. Weekseris, you will have lived. Weekserit, he, she, or it will have lived. Weekserimus, we will have lived. Weekseritis, you will have lived. Weekserint, they will have lived. Now let's talk about the future perfect in relationship to other tenses. For this I'm going to use a linea temporalis, that is, a timeline. In this timeline we will move forward in time, reading from left to right, just as Latin itself is written, and English too. The first portion of the timeline I will demarcate is the time that relates to now, nunc. So I've put that right in the center. To the left of that I put praeterita, that is the things which have gone before. And to the right of it I put futura. Now the first tense that I'm going to mark out is the one that relates to nunc, that is the tempus praesens. Nunc, or right now, I am making a video. Right now, in your present time, you are watching a video. Let's look at the past. In the past, we have three tenses. The most important of these tenses, and the most common and the most obvious, is the tempus perfectum, or the perfect tense. The perfect tense is used for showing a single event in time, which has a clear ending and beginning, such as, I dropped the chandelier. Now if you look at that picture, that chandelier has been shattered. I was not dropping it repeatedly. It was far too fragile to handle that. So the dropping happened once, and I'm speaking of it in terms of having happened once. Let's say that I want to let you know what had happened prior to my dropping the chandelier. I could say, after I had detached the chandelier from the ceiling, I dropped it. By saying I had detached the chandelier, you know that the detaching of the chandelier from the ceiling was followed in time and by logical consequence of my dropping it. Now let's say that while I was detaching the chandelier and also while I was dropping it, something else was going on. Let's say homines saltabant. So folk were dancing. So while I'm detaching the chandelier, and then while I'm dropping the chandelier sometime later, people were dancing. So I had detached the chandelier while people were dancing, and I dropped the chandelier while people were still dancing. Notice that the imperfect tense serves the whole realm of time as much as I need it to. It simply indicates an ongoing action in the past. Now that I have dropped the chandelier and there's no fixing it, I'm going to leave the past and I'm going to look to the future. Let's go ahead and say that I'm going to take a trip in the summer, in the month of July, and I'm going to travel by boat. I could say, in July, I shall travel by boat. Now, between now, which is in the early spring, at the point that this video was made, and between that period of travel, tickets must be purchased. I do not yet have tickets, so therefore this action must happen prior to that incident of travel. So therefore, by July, I shall have bought tickets. So notice that the end goal is travel, and I use the future tense to express that. But between now and that time of travel in July, tickets must be bought. So therefore I say, after I shall have bought tickets, I shall board the boat and leave. Let's talk about consecutio temporum, namely, the sequence of tenses. For this example, I'm going to introduce you to two characters. Eke. Lynx et eke. Lepus. Alright, now, lynx et lepus are going to make an exchange. One has a poculum, the other has a catina. So poculum, catina, lynx, lepus. So let's look at the sentence. In the first sentence, we have si lynx lepori poculum dederit, lepus lynci catinam dabit. Take a moment, pause the video, write that sentence down, and continue. Alright, now that you've written it down, before you translate it, I want you to watch the following video and use that video as a guide as to how you should render this sentence in English.
Si ego tibi poculum dedero, tu mihi catinam dabis. Mihi placet?
When you finish the video, pause it and write in your translation in your notes. Alright, let's look at a very similar sentence, but we're going to do a little bit of role reversal between lynx et lepus. Si lepus lynci poculum dabit, hic illi catinam dabit. Please notice there's a slight change in the tense of the first verb. Dabit, dabit. Think about that. They're both in the same tense. Think of how that will change the action. Watch the following clip, pause the video, and then put in your translation as best as you understand it.
Si tibi poculum dabo, mihi catinam dabis.
Mihi placet.
Alright. Did the video help you understand better? At this time, I'm going to put up on the screen your homework, the link to the Google form, which is your homework. Valete omnes.